Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and friends, today I want to talk about something we often overlook in relationships, our own self-worth and the power it holds in how we are treated. We all desire respect, love, and honor from those we care about, but what we sometimes forget is that the treatment we receive begins with how we treat ourselves. When you learn to value yourself deeply, when you set boundaries, when you honor your needs and desires, you raise the bar not only for yourself, but for those around you as well. It's about cultivating a sense of worth that cannot be shaken by the whims or actions of others. When you treat yourself with love, care, and respect, it sets an example, a standard that signals to others how you expect to be treated. Self-respect is one of the most profound and powerful practices you can cultivate in your life. It isn't just about holding your head high when you're in a room full of people or putting on a facade of confidence. True self-respect comes from within. It's an unwavering belief that you are deserving of kindness, compassion, and dignity, regardless of external circumstances or other people's actions. At its core, self-respect means understanding that you are worthy of being treated with the utmost care and consideration. It means not allowing yourself to be taken for granted, manipulated, or mistreated, but perhaps more importantly, it means setting and maintaining high standards for how you allow others to treat you and how you treat yourself. When you have self-respect, you make choices that honor your body, mind, and soul. You refuse to settle for relationships, work environments, or situations that diminish your sense of self. Whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, or a professional connection, you establish clear, healthy boundaries that protect your time, energy, and emotions. Think of self-respect as a form of self-love. It's knowing that you are not here to serve the desires of others at the cost of your well-being. It's about saying no when you need to, even if it's uncomfortable. It's about not apologizing for your needs and desires and making decisions that align with your core values, even if others may not understand them. Having self-respect means treating yourself with the same dignity and kindness that you would treat a close friend or loved one. If a friend were to come to you feeling hurt or disrespected, you would encourage them to stand up for themselves, to demand better treatment. And the same should apply to you. If you would never allow a friend to be mistreated or belittled, then why should you accept that for yourself? Part of self-respect is also the ability to take responsibility for your actions and decisions. This isn't about perfection, it's about owning your choices, learning from your mistakes, and growing from them. When you respect yourself, you do not shy away from accountability. You understand that your actions have consequences, and you accept them without shame or guilt. Moreover, self-respect requires that you honor your own time and energy. It's easy to become caught up in the needs of others, to give and give without replenishing your own reserves. But self-respect insists that you recognize your own limits and take care of yourself first. You understand that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and so you fill your own cup before offering it to others. By setting this example, you teach those around you the importance of respecting their own needs as well. In practice, self-respect often means making decisions that feel uncomfortable or challenging. It's about choosing your own peace over pleasing others, choosing your own growth over staying in toxic environments, and choosing your own authenticity over conforming to societal expectations. It's about the courage to stand alone when necessary, trusting that true respect both for yourself and from others will follow. When you honor yourself in this way, you set a powerful example for others to follow. People will begin to see you as someone who values themselves, and they will naturally begin to treat you with the same respect. Your self-respect teaches others how to respect you because they see that you will not tolerate anything less. Self-respect is not about arrogance, pride, or perfection. It's about the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your inherent worth and acting in alignment with that knowledge. It's a practice, a commitment, and a daily choice to treat yourself with the dignity and care you deserve. When you do this, you show the world that you are not just a person to be loved, but a person who knows how to love themselves first. And in turn, The respect you cultivate for yourself will naturally be reflected in the way others treat you. Vulnerability is often misunderstood. It's commonly seen as a weakness, a flaw that exposes us to harm or rejection. But in truth, vulnerability is one of the greatest strengths you can possess because it requires courage, honesty, and a deep willingness to be open and authentic. It is the raw and unguarded part of you that allows others to truly see who you are without the protective masks we sometimes wear. To be vulnerable is to open yourself to the possibility of being hurt, but also to the possibility of true connection. It is to allow others into your heart, to expose the parts of yourself that are often hidden behind walls of fear or doubt. Vulnerability is about showing up in the world as your true self without pretenses or armor, even when it feels risky. For many of us, the idea of vulnerability is frightening. We've been conditioned to believe that in order to be strong, we must remain impenetrable, never showing weakness or insecurity. Society often teaches us that vulnerability is synonymous with being weak, fragile, or unworthy. Yet, the truth is that vulnerability is what makes us human. It is the essence of our authenticity and the gateway to meaningful relationships. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you give others permission to do the same. By showing your true self, the good, the bad, and the messy parts, you create an environment where connection is possible. It's through the shared experience of being vulnerable that trust is built and deep bonds are formed. True intimacy, whether in a romantic relationship, a friendship, or even a professional relationship, cannot thrive without vulnerability. Without it, we remain disconnected, closed off, and isolated. Vulnerability means not being afraid to show your emotions. It's about expressing when you're scared, sad, or even uncertain. It's admitting when you don't have all the answers and being comfortable in your own imperfections. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable in this way, you create space for others to respond with empathy and understanding. In turn, this vulnerability fosters compassion as people begin to see you not as an image or persona, but as a real person with genuine emotions and struggles. The power of vulnerability lies in its honesty. It's about allowing yourself to be seen for who you truly are, not for what you think others want you to be. And it's not about showing vulnerability for the sake of attention or sympathy. It's about being real without expectation or attachment to a particular outcome. Vulnerability, in this sense, is an act of self-acceptance. You are saying, this is me. I am not perfect, but I am worthy of love, respect, and connection just as I am. While vulnerability requires strength, it also requires a sense of security and self-assurance. You must first cultivate self-respect and self-compassion in order to feel safe enough to be vulnerable. If you don't value yourself, it's difficult to open up and trust others. Vulnerability is not about putting yourself in harm's way. Rather, it is about showing up with courage, knowing that your worth is not contingent on anyone else's response. There is immense power in vulnerability because it allows us to experience the fullness of life. It opens us up to joy, love, and connection, but it also allows us to experience pain, loss, and fear. And it's in embracing the full spectrum of emotions that we truly grow and evolve. Vulnerability allows us to face the challenges in life head-on without the need for perfection or control. It frees us from the need to hide or pretend, allowing us to show up authentically without fear of judgment. In relationships, vulnerability fosters trust and intimacy. When you share your true self with someone, it invites them to do the same. Vulnerability creates an exchange where both parties can be open and honest, knowing they will be met with understanding and acceptance. It is through vulnerability that we feel seen and heard, and it is through vulnerability that we can see and hear others in return. But vulnerability is not just about emotional openness. It is also about being vulnerable in your ambitions, your dreams, and your goals. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone, taking risks, and pursuing what you desire, even when the outcome is uncertain. In this sense, vulnerability is an essential part of personal growth. It requires you to let go of the fear of failure, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust that the journey itself is worth the risk. In the context of love and relationships, vulnerability is what allows two people to grow together. It's through vulnerability that you can truly understand each other, communicate openly, and face challenges as a team. Without vulnerability, relationships become superficial and connection is lost. Vulnerability is the glue that holds relationships together because it fosters empathy, compassion, and deep understanding. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you stop hiding behind facade you, embrace your imperfections, and realize that you are worthy of love and connection, just as you are. Vulnerability is not about seeking validation or approval from others. It's about showing up as your authentic self and allowing others to see the beautiful, imperfect, and unique person you are. Vulnerability is not a one-time act. It is a continual practice. It is a daily choice to show up as you are without the need for masks or pretensions. It is about leaning into discomfort, letting go of control, and embracing the uncertainty of being fully seen. When you make this choice, you allow yourself to live a more authentic, meaningful, and fulfilling life. Setting boundaries is an essential, yet often overlooked, aspect of maintaining healthy relationships and fostering personal well-being. Boundaries are not about building walls or pushing people away. They are about creating a space where you can honor your needs, your values, and your personal sense of self while allowing others to do the same. They are the invisible lines that protect your time, energy, emotions, and personal space, ensuring that you are not giving more than you have to give, and that you are treated with the respect and care that you deserve. At its core, setting boundaries is about recognizing your worth and taking responsibility for your own well-being. It is about understanding that you have the right to say no without guilt, to prioritize your own needs, and to assert your own limits. Setting boundaries isn't about being selfish, it's about self-preservation. It's a way of communicating to the world, this is what I need in order to thrive, and this is what I will not tolerate. It is an act of self-love, self-respect, and self-care. One of the most important aspects of boundary setting is recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have a finite amount of time, energy, and emotional resources. If you constantly give to others without considering your own needs, you will eventually burn out, feel resentful, and lose a sense of your own identity. Setting boundaries allows you to take care of yourself first, so that you can show up as your best self for others. It is a form of self-respect and an acknowledgement that your well-being matters. In practice, setting boundaries can take many forms. For some, it might mean saying no to social invitations when they are feeling overwhelmed or needing time to recharge. For others, it could mean having a conversation with a partner, family member, or friend about what is acceptable behavior in a relationship. It might involve asking for space, requesting that certain topics not be discussed, or establishing clear limits around how you're willing to be treated. The key to setting effective boundaries is clarity. You cannot expect others to respect your boundaries if they are not clearly communicated. It's important to be direct and specific about what you need and what you are not willing to tolerate. Ambiguous or passive-aggressive boundaries, like hoping someone will just know what you need or being afraid to speak up, are often ignored or misunderstood. When you set boundaries with confidence and clarity, you give others the opportunity to respect them. Boundaries can be physical, emotional, mental, or even digital. Physical boundaries involve your personal space and comfort level with physical touch, proximity, or sharing of your environment. Emotional boundaries are about protecting your emotional health and well-being, such as not allowing others to manipulate or control your feelings. Mental boundaries refer to your thoughts and beliefs, ensuring that you are not forced to adopt or absorb someone else's opinions or ideas. And in today's world, digital boundaries are increasingly important, knowing when to disconnect, protecting your privacy, and setting limits on how much personal information you share online or with others. Another critical aspect of boundary setting is the willingness to enforce your boundaries. It's one thing to set them, but it's another to follow through when they are tested or violated. Enforcing your boundaries means taking action when they are crossed, even if it feels uncomfortable. It might mean ending a conversation, walking away from a situation, or calmly but firmly reiterating your limits. It's not about being aggressive or confrontational. It's about standing firm in your needs and demonstrating that your well-being is a priority. The process of setting and enforcing boundaries can be challenging, especially if you have been conditioned to put others' needs before your own, or if you fear conflict or rejection. Many of us have been taught to be people pleasers, to go along with the crowd, or to avoid confrontation at all costs. But this often leads to resentment, burnout, and feelings of being unheard or invisible. Setting boundaries is a way of asserting that your needs are just as important as anyone else's. A key element of setting boundaries is understanding that it is okay to disappoint others sometimes. You cannot meet everyone's expectations or accommodate everyone's desires, and that's perfectly fine. Healthy boundaries are about balance, recognizing that while you may want to help others and be there for them, you also have a right to prioritize your own health, happiness, and peace of mind. It's about acknowledging that self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity for maintaining your mental, physical, and emotional health. Furthermore, setting boundaries is not just about saying no to others, it's also about saying yes to yourself. By setting clear boundaries, you are making a commitment to honor your own needs, desires, and aspirations. Boundaries allow you to protect your time, your energy, and your peace so that you can devote yourself to the things and people that matter most to you. They create the space you need to focus on your personal growth, your well-being, and your dreams. Boundaries also play a crucial role in relationships. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, understanding, and trust. When you set boundaries, you teach others how to treat you, and you demonstrate that you expect to be treated with respect and care. In turn, when others set boundaries with you, it is important to honor them. Healthy boundaries create an environment where both parties can thrive and feel supported. One of the challenges that often arises in boundary setting is the fear of rejection or conflict. You may worry that others will not understand or will be upset with you for asserting your needs. But the truth is, the right people will respect your boundaries, even if it initially causes discomfort. Healthy, respectful relationships are based on mutual understanding, and those who truly care about you will support you in taking care of yourself. Self-compassion is one of the most powerful tools we can cultivate in our emotional and psychological toolkit. It's a concept that may seem simple, being kind to yourself, but in reality, it is often one of the most challenging practices, especially in a world that frequently pushes us to be perfect, achieve more, and constantly do better. Self-compassion is not just about feeling good about yourself when things are going well. It's about showing yourself grace, kindness, and understanding when you're struggling, when you fail, or when you fall short of your own expectations. At its core, self-compassion is the practice of treating yourself with the same kindness, concern, and care that you would offer to a dear friend or loved one. When you're suffering, whether from a difficult situation, a personal mistake, or emotional pain, self-compassion encourages you to respond with empathy and warmth instead of judgment or self-criticism. It's the recognition that being human means experiencing flaws, difficulties, and imperfections, and that it's okay to be imperfect. It's about not only accepting your shortcomings, but embracing them as a part of what makes you whole. The three elements of self-compassion. There are three primary components that make up self-compassion: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. Each of these elements plays a crucial role in how we care for ourselves during times of difficulty and distress. Self-kindness. This is the most obvious yet often the most challenging aspect of self-compassion. Self-kindness involves treating yourself with warmth and understanding, especially during times of failure or suffering. It means speaking to yourself in a gentle, supportive tone rather than harshly criticizing or berating yourself. For example, when you make a mistake, Instead of saying, I'm so stupid, I can't do anything right, self-kindness allows you to say, it's okay to make mistakes. I can learn from this and grow. It's the ability to soften your inner voice, to replace self-criticism with self-love, and to extend the same care you would show to someone you deeply care about. Common humanity, this element involves recognizing that you are not alone in your struggles, mistakes, or failures. It's the understanding that suffering and imperfection are part of the shared human experience. When you feel pain, sadness, or disappointment, self-compassion invites you to remember that these feelings are not unique to you. Others, too, experience hardship and challenge. Rather than isolating yourself or feeling like you're the only one who is struggling, common humanity reminds you that being human means being imperfect. Embracing this connection with others fosters a sense of belonging and comfort, helping you to feel less isolated during tough times. Mindfulness and self-compassion is about being aware of your thoughts and emotions in the present moment, without becoming overwhelmed by them. It's about acknowledging your pain, but not identifying with it or letting it define you. Mindfulness helps you create a balanced perspective, allowing you to observe your experiences with clarity and without judgment. It's about being present with yourself, noticing your feelings of discomfort or distress without reacting impulsively or harshly. Mindfulness helps you create the space to offer yourself the compassion you need, rather than becoming swept away by your emotions. The importance of self-compassion is essential for emotional well-being. When we practice self-compassion, we are better able to handle the challenges and stresses that life inevitably throws our way. Rather than turning to self-criticism or negative self-talk, we respond to difficult situations with care and understanding. This shift in perspective can dramatically improve how we cope with stress, disappointment, and failure. One of the key reasons self-compassion is so important is that it fosters emotional resilience. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's impossible to avoid moments of failure, hurt, or frustration. But when we practice self-compassion, we are able to bounce back from those moments more quickly and with greater ease. Instead of being stuck in a cycle of self-blame or regret, we allow ourselves to heal and move forward. Self-compassion also allows us to be more forgiving of ourselves. We all make mistakes, and no one is perfect. But when we hold ourselves to impossible standards and demand perfection, we create unnecessary suffering. When we practice self-compassion, we understand that mistakes are part of the learning process, and we are able to forgive ourselves for the missteps along the way. This forgiveness is freeing, and it enables us to grow, evolve, and approach future challenges with greater confidence. Another significant benefit of self-compassion is that it reduces stress and anxiety. When we treat ourselves with kindness and acceptance, we lower the level of stress we experience. We are not constantly battling against ourselves, pushing ourselves harder, or feeling like we are not good enough. Self-compassion allows us to ease the pressure, acknowledge our limits, and care for ourselves during difficult times. Self-compassion and self-esteem, many people confuse self-compassion with self-esteem. While they are related, they are distinct concepts. Self-esteem is often based on external factors, such as achievements, appearance, or how others perceive us. It can be fragile, as it relies on meeting certain expectations or receiving validation from others. If our self-esteem is tied to our external circumstances, it can easily be shaken by failure or criticism. Self-compassion, on the other hand, is unconditional. It is not based on our achievements, our appearance, or the opinions of others. It is about accepting ourselves as we are, flaws and all. Self-compassion is rooted in the understanding that our value as human beings is not dependent on our successes or failures. By practicing self-compassion, we cultivate a deeper, more lasting sense of self-worth, grounded in kindness, understanding, and acceptance. Overcoming barriers to self-compassion. Despite the numerous benefits of self-compassion, many people find it difficult to practice. One of the most common barriers is the belief that self-compassion is selfish or indulgent. We may worry that if we are too kind to ourselves, we will become lazy, complacent, or unmotivated. However, research has shown that self-compassion actually increases motivation and productivity by reducing the fear of failure and encouraging a more positive and balanced approach to challenges. Another obstacle to self-compassion is the tendency to compare ourselves to others. In a world where social media often amplifies images of perfection and success, it can be hard to embrace our own imperfections. We may feel inadequate when we see others achieving their goals or living what seems like a flawless life. But self-compassion teaches us to stop comparing ourselves to others and to recognize that each person's journey is unique. We are all doing the best we can with the circumstances we are given, and we deserve the same care and compassion that we would offer to anyone else. Many people struggle with self-compassion because they are not accustomed to being kind to themselves. For years, they may have practiced self-criticism, pushing themselves to do better or be more, often at the expense of their emotional well-being. But like any new habit, self-compassion takes practice. It requires patience, self-awareness, and a commitment to changing the way we treat ourselves. Over time, with consistent practice, self-compassion becomes easier and more natural. Cultivating self-compassion. So how can we cultivate more self-compassion in our lives? The first step is to become aware of the way we treat ourselves. Pay attention to the inner dialogue that you have, especially during times of stress or failure. When you make a mistake, how do you speak to yourself? Are you harsh and critical, or are you gentle and understanding? The next time you face a challenge, try to respond with kindness and self-encouragement, just as you would to a close friend. Another helpful practice is to engage in mindfulness. By becoming more present with your thoughts and feelings, you can begin to notice when you are being self-critical or judgmental. When you observe these thoughts without attachment or judgment, you create the space to respond with compassion rather than criticism. In a world that often equates worth with achievement, appearance, or external validation, embracing your true worth can feel like a daunting challenge. Yet, the journey to self-acceptance and self-empowerment begins with one crucial realization. Your worth is inherent, not conditional. It is not determined by what you accomplish or how others perceive you. It is not contingent on meeting societal expectations or fitting into predefined molds. Your worth is intrinsic simply because you exist. Embracing this truth is a transformative and liberating process that has the power to change not only how you see yourself, but also how you navigate the world and interact with others. Understanding the nature of true worth, many of us grow up being taught that our value is based on external factors, grades, success, popularity, or how well we meet the expectations of others. We internalize the idea that we must prove our worth through what we do, how we look, or how much we can achieve. Over time, this belief creates a cycle of striving for validation, a constant need to do more, be more, and achieve more to feel worthy of love and acceptance. However, this external validation is fleeting and often unattainable. The truth is that your worth is not something you need to earn, it's something you already possess. It's rooted in your humanity. Each person, regardless of background, achievements, or circumstances, is inherently valuable. Your worth comes from within, from the unique qualities, strengths, and characteristics that make you who you are. It is not tied to your performance, your mistakes, or your shortcomings. True worth is about acknowledging and accepting yourself as you are in all your complexity. It is about recognizing that your value is not conditional on being perfect or meeting external standards. Your worth is unshakable because it is not something that can be taken away or diminished by others' judgments or opinions. The importance of embracing your worth is not just about cultivating self-esteem. It is about stepping into your full power. When you truly accept your worth, you begin to see yourself as deserving of love, respect, and the very best that life has to offer. This sense of self-worth forms the foundation for healthy boundaries, fulfilling relationships, and a life that aligns with your true desires and values. When you embrace your worth, you free yourself from the need to seek constant validation from others. You stop chasing after approval and begin making decisions based on what feels right for you, not on what others expect or want from you. This shift in mindset leads to greater confidence, a deeper sense of inner peace, and the ability to pursue your goals and passions with authenticity and determination. Moreover, embracing your worth is crucial for building resilience. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But when you recognize that your value is not contingent on external circumstances, you are better equipped to handle adversity. You understand that even in times of failure or struggle, you are still worthy of love, care, and respect. This unwavering sense of worth allows you to rise stronger after setbacks, knowing that your value is not defined by your successes or mistakes. The role of self-acceptance is the key to embracing your worth. It involves recognizing and embracing all aspects of yourself, both the strengths and the imperfections. It means letting go of the unrealistic expectations of perfection and learning to love yourself in your entirety. Self-acceptance is not about complacency or resigning yourself to your flaws. Rather, it's about acknowledging that you are a work in progress and that your worth is not dependent on being flawless. The path to self-acceptance can be difficult because it requires letting go of negative self-talk, shame, and judgment. We often struggle with self-acceptance because we are taught to focus on our shortcomings and compare ourselves to others. But when you embrace your worth, you make the conscious choice to stop measuring yourself against unrealistic standards or the expectations of others. You learn to appreciate your uniqueness and honor the journey that has brought you to where you are today. Self-acceptance also involves forgiving yourself for past mistakes, letting go of regrets, and releasing the burden of perfectionism. It's about understanding that you are allowed to be imperfect and that your imperfections do not diminish your value as a person. By embracing all of who you are, you unlock the freedom to grow, evolve, and become the best version of yourself, not because you have to, because you are worthy of doing so. The power of self-love is an essential component of embracing your worth. It is about treating yourself with kindness, respect, and compassion, and recognizing that you deserve to be treated well. Self-love is not an act of narcissism or selfishness. It is an expression of honoring yourself and prioritizing your well-being. It's about offering yourself the same care and support you would offer to someone you love deeply. When you practice self-love, you begin to cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment that comes from knowing you are enough. You stop seeking validation from external sources and start recognizing your own inherent value. Self-love allows you to build a healthy relationship with yourself, which in turn enhances your relationships with others. You become more grounded, more authentic, and more capable of loving others from a place of fullness rather than seeking fulfillment outside of yourself. One of the most important aspects of self-love is learning to treat yourself with compassion during difficult times. We all go through struggles and experience moments of self-doubt, but when you love yourself, you don't punish or criticize yourself during these times. Instead, you offer yourself understanding, patience, and kindness. You acknowledge that you are doing the best you can and that you deserve to be treated with the same love and care that you would extend to a friend in need. Overcoming the barriers to embracing your worth. Despite the many benefits of embracing your worth, many people struggle with accepting their value. The pressure to meet societal standards of beauty, success, and achievement can create a sense of inadequacy. The fear of judgment, rejection, or failure may prevent you from fully stepping into your worth. But it's important to remember that these external pressures do not define you, nor do they determine your value. One of the biggest barriers to embracing your worth is negative self-talk. Many people have internalized harsh criticism and judgment over the years, often from early life experiences or societal expectations. These negative beliefs can become deeply ingrained, affecting how we see ourselves and our ability to acknowledge our worth. Overcoming negative self-talk requires awareness and a conscious effort to reframe your inner dialogue. Practice replacing critical thoughts with affirmations of self-love and acceptance. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, gently redirect your thoughts to affirm your worth and capabilities. Another challenge is comparison. In the age of social media, it's easy to compare ourselves to others and feel like we don't measure up. But comparison only robs you of your peace and distorts your sense of self-worth. Remember, everyone's journey is unique, and someone else's success or appearance does not diminish your value. Embrace your own path, your own progress, and the beauty that comes with being yourself. In conclusion, the journey to embracing your worth is one of the most powerful transformations you can undertake in your life. It's about recognizing that your value is not determined by external factors, nor by the approval or validation of others. Your worth is inherent. It exists simply because you are human, because you are uniquely you. When you embrace this truth, you open the door to a life of authenticity, self-respect, and inner peace. By practicing self-compassion, setting healthy boundaries, and cultivating self-love, you begin to honor who you are at your core. You stop measuring your worth against society's standards and instead begin to acknowledge the incredible strength, resilience, and beauty that already reside within you. Embracing your worth means allowing yourself to make mistakes, learn, grow, and heal, without the constant weight of perfectionism or self-criticism. It means prioritizing your emotional well-being, understanding that you are deserving of love and respect simply because you exist. As you embrace your worth, you not only transform how you view yourself, but also how you engage with the world. You set the tone for the relationships you cultivate, the boundaries you set, and the decisions you make. This journey is not without its challenges, but with patience, self-awareness, and consistent practice, you can unlock the fullness of your potential. You can live with confidence, resilience, and grace, knowing that your worth is not defined by what you do, but by who you are. So remember this: you are worthy, not because of your achievements, your appearance, or the validation you seek from others, but simply because you are. Embrace your worth, and you will find yourself stepping into a life that reflects your true value, where you are free to be your authentic self. Pursue your dreams and live with joy and fulfillment.